So yesterday I posted a video and it was about the fact that if a man is going to be a bad man, there are always going to be signs. And a lot of women will get blindsided somewhere in the midst of her relationship or her marriage and think, oh my God, there were no signs. I didn't see this coming. And I'm here to tell you that there are always, always, always going to be signs. You just need to know how to find them, how to see them, right? And it takes a certain amount of reflection on yourself and your own life, as well as experience with men and understanding men and their nature for you to be able to spot these red flags. Okay? And a lot of women lack that. A lot of women don't have the tools necessary to really be out here in this dating world. Now, this comment came from that video. A woman commented, women ignore red flags because they don't want to be alone. And the comment that really caught my attention was this next one. She says, this the one. Had an ex-friend that confirmed this statement. She was going from man to man, and during a conversation in her car, I told her maybe she needs to be single for a bit. Her response was, I can't be single. She went through hell with a lot of different men. Now that stuck out to me because she says she can't be single. This is an extreme case of codependency, in my opinion. I am not a therapist or a psychiatrist or anything like that, but I know codependency when I see it. And like I said, you don't necessarily need those credentials when you are just schooling life, as they call it, right? Because a lot of us have experience with either with this ourselves or with what we've seen in this life. This woman is extremely codependent. And here's the thing. I say this to women all the time. And if you're listening to this, this is not a dig at you. It's not to shame you. Nobody knows you. Nobody sees you right now, right? No one has to know what you're going through. But this is a time to really self-reflect and ask yourself, are you this woman? A woman that goes from man to man, relationship to relationship, with no time in between to self-reflect, figure out what you want, figure out where things went wrong, so on and so forth. And when I'm talking about being by yourself, I'm not talking about a couple weeks or a few months. I'm talking about several years. And I always say, in my opinion, the least amount of years is at least 2 years where you are single, not dating, not in a relationship, not having sex with men, not doing anything but focusing on yourself. Because men are a huge distraction for the average woman. There was a video, I think it was from Amani Forster, and her title was something along the lines of behind every unsuccessful woman, there's a man, or something like that. I could have it kind of wrong, but that's the gist of it, right? And what that means is that if you really think about it, every time a woman has had her life ruined in some way or another, nearly 100% of the time it is because of a man. So because of that, because we know that it's a man, it could be a father, a brother, a husband, a baby daddy, it doesn't really matter, right? We know that because men are typically going to be the ones to ruin a woman's life, that lets us know right there, men are a huge distraction. So when you are on a self journey, you need to cut men out of your life as much as you can. No sex with them, no dating them, nothing. And if you can't do that, if you're like, I can't go a year or 6 months without talking to a man or without, then that means you're codependent. That's what that means. Like, really think about it. Why can't you be by yourself? Why is that so difficult? And this woman in this comment, it sounds like her friend doesn't love herself, because there was another comment underneath this one that says she doesn't love herself and that she's codependent. And I agree. And when I tell women they don't love themselves, it's not a dig. It is me saying you need to sit down with yourself and figure out what it is about you, what it is about men that you feel like you can't be away from them. Men are destructive. They are a distraction in most cases. They are manipulative. They are always in survival mode, which means they can't properly love you because all they care about is survival and getting their basic needs met, and that's it. They don't care by any means necessary. They don't care who they get it from, who, what, where, when, and why, and how. They don't care. They just want what they want, and they don't care who they destroy in the process either. So the best thing you can do for yourself as a woman, if you are this codependent where you feel like you can't be single, you need to be single. You need to confront your fears. Whatever your fear is, you confront it by doing it. She fears being single. She needs to be single. And she needs to do it for a significant amount of time because you need to figure out who you are and what you want. You need to understand that the very reason why women want marriage and kids and all that stuff in the first place is because we've been programmed to do it. We've been programmed to want it. And it starts from when you are a child. And a lot of people will say, I'm not brainwashed or programmed. I know what I want. And those are the most brainwashed people. It is so difficult to convince a person that they're brainwashed because they're that brainwashed. That's the thing. I recognized the patterns when I was coming up. You know, women are supposed to grow up and be women, and you have to carry yourself a certain way as a woman, and you have to be a mom and a wife, and you need to learn how to cook, and you need to know how to do this, and a man ain't gonna take you seriously if you ain't doing this, that, and the third. We were all programmed under this nonsense. Everybody was. It's just that for some of us, it didn't take, or we recognized it at some point in our lives, and we got away from it. And that's me. I recognized it at a certain point. Right? I'm like, nah, this ain't what I want. Nah, I don't really care about this. Nah, I don't want to be married. Nah, I don't want to be tied down and shackled to no man for the rest of my life. No, I don't. Right? We don't all want that shit. But women have these they're brainwashed and they haven't done the work. They haven't done the work. The reason why women jump from man to man is because they are afraid to do the work on themselves. And even if you are the type of woman who feel like you did everything right in your relationships and the only reason why they ended was because something the man did, because that was kind of me. Like, I'm like, well, I was fine. I did everything I was supposed to do. Like, I was cool. You know, I never cheated. I was very open and honest with my communication. I did this. We had fun. We laughed. The relationship ended because of something that they did or said. And sometimes when you leave a relationship feeling like that, you think, I am not the one who needs to heal. I can get with somebody else and be just fine. Wrong. And I'm telling you from personal experience, wrong. You still need to be alone because you still need to figure out why we picked certain men that had these horrible characteristics, these horrible ideologies. Why are we picking misogynistic men? And I'm not trying to do the whole you should have chose better line either. That's not where I'm going with this. Okay? What I'm saying, though, is you naturally do pick better when you know who you are. When you have been through enough and you've seen enough red flags in men and you realize that pretty much a man being a man is a red flag in most cases in and of itself. Once you've come to that realization, then you'll be able to point things out immediately. Someone in the comment section also said that, you can see the red flags in the first conversation you have with a man. But what women tend to do is say, oh, I can handle that. Oh, that's not going to be a problem. And that is so true. I really believe that's what women do. I know I've done it. I've probably done it multiple times in the past. I've done that a few times, It's like, oh, I can handle that. Oh, no. But those be the red flags. And I always say, too, to women, the red flags that we ignore in the very beginning of a relationship will tend to end up being the reason why you break up with him in the end. If you really think about it, you ignored it. You're like, your gut was gnawing at you a little bit. Your gut was telling you, I don't know how I feel about this. And you ignored it. You blew it off. You said, maybe I'm tripping. You gaslit yourself out of your own intuition. We got that bad as women. That's another reason why we pick wrong or why we stay in situations that are wrong. You're going to be, and if you don't do the self work, if you don't go be single for a few years and focus on yourself, if you don't do that, I promise you, every relationship you get in will be the exact same. You're going to date the exact same man. He's just going to have a different face and a different body type and a different peen size and a different sound of voice or whatever. But he's going to be the same man, and you're going to be faced with the same problems. I'm telling you. Because if you are running from yourself, running from the belief that you can't be single and you feel like you need to always be in a relationship, you're going to keep running into the same problems. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That is insanity. All women are or have been insane at one point or another in their lives. Ain't none of us free of that. But I am telling women, both from personal experience as well as what I have seen all my life, you must take time for yourself. It is okay. Being single for a few years is not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. And what I'm going to promise you is that if you actually take the time to do this, you are going to feel so much better about your life, about yourself in general, and everything. If you take this time and focus on yourself and cut men out, a lot of y'all are not going to even want to get back in a relationship again. And or at the very least, you're going to have a mindset where you're comfortable in a relationship or comfortable out of one. And that's where I'm at. I have always been okay with being by myself. But when I was in relationships before, they were benefiting me in some way. Like, they were paying all the bills, or, they were making it easier for me to go to school, and I didn't have to do this and I didn't have to do that. I've definitely used my share of men in the past. I couldn't even hold you up. But I've always been in a place within myself that I'm like, I can be single or in a relationship. And I was planning on being single forever, really, until I came across the man that I'm with now. And this is not foolproof either. This could end at any moment as well, and I will be just fine. And that is where I want women, that's the place I want all women to get to. Like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be happy and fulfilled whether you're in a relationship or not. That's the goal, right? A lot of women have just sworn off men anyways. And in my opinion, that's the better position to be in. I'm just being very honest. For most women, because of the way most men are, you're better off single. But if you don't want to be single, that's fine too. Just don't be desperate to a point where you feel like I can't be single and I'm going to put up with this and I'm going to deal with that. No, that is no way to live life. But when you take this time for yourself, you're going to find it is one of the best decisions that you've ever made, because you're going to accomplish so much more. Your skin is going to be clear. Your skin is going to be moisturized. You're going to be hydrated. Your hair is going to thrive. I'm telling you, it is so much better when you are single and free of the opinions of men, being free from needing their validation and their approval and all of that. And that's another thing. Don't let these men gaslight you into thinking you need a man or your life is useless and meaningless and all that stuff. Men project. Everything that men throw onto women and say to women, they are projecting because it is their own fear. I'm telling you, as you live life, you're going to come to realize this. Men project. Men are the ones who are really the ones who are afraid of being alone. So they say, you're going to die alone with your cats, because that is their fear. Women tend to have each other. Men don't have deep friendships like women do, as far as, like the way we can show up for each other. Their shit is very surface level. They are terrified of being alone, and they project that off onto you. You are beautiful. You are meaningful. Your life is meaningful. Your life is what you make it. You're all of that without a man. As a matter of fact, you're all of that times 10 without one in most cases. The way these single women are thriving and buying houses and getting degrees and looking out for themselves, and we're learning how to garden, and you know what I mean? Focus on living your life to the fullest. You do not need a man to be happy. That's all I got to say about this for now. Leave your comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
All together, girls. 1, 2, 3. Fuck these men on the internet. They don't know what they want, but they will see what they can get. Oh, go and waste your one and only precious life while pretending not to have a full receding hairline. So keep your eyes on his hairline and your hand on your drink. For all you know, he is a psychopath. He'll leave you on red and he won't care